And his way.
Yeah. So, yeah, like we said, we want to do this one sooner than later, so here we are.
And I think we fixed the audio issues from last time, because last time Martin's voice was much louder than mine, but I think we're mostly evened out.
Yeah. Oh, I'll throw this out now compared to last time, like, try to watch language this time.
Yes, we're going... That's right, we're going to do that thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Aha. It's also going to be much shorter than last time, which wound up at a staggering almost 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But this is a much shorter chapter. Blue Blood Heroes Chapter 2, Blue Fire Baptism.
Yeah.
Any fond memories going in?
Offhand, I'll say that's a really, like, toned-down cover.
It really is. It's a very crummy cover.
Ugh.
And not just because of the terrible, terrible artwork, which... I honestly think the artwork in Chapter 1 was better than the artwork in Chapter 2.
Yeah.
Because I'll go into it as we get to the end of the chapter, but there were some problems with the proportions of my artwork around that point. But anyway, yeah.
It took a while before we started really doing, like, the cover details, didn't it?
It really did, because even in Blue Blooded Heroes, we still don't do the cover box, but I just don't think it's like a... I think it works better for Right as Rain than it does.
Now, for Blues that are the in this issue thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Anyway, let's begin.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, first of all, we should mention this chapter and the first chapter were going to just be... They weren't separate at first. They were originally going to be the same... They were going to be the same, but, like, they were just so long, we had to split them apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And...
That's also pretty much what happened with this last war chapter.
Yeah, it was so long, like, we couldn't handle it. Our brains just couldn't do it.
Well, that plus in the war, in both cases, more so the war one, it's how I think of, like, they're also kind of two separate stories.
Yeah. But, oh god, I'm really looking forward to the point where we can do these chapter commentaries and not just have me cringing constantly about the artwork.
Yeah.
Because this is really terrible.
Which you figure will happen first? To get to the good art, or you just get used to it?
We get to the good art, because I've been looking at these occasionally for a long time, and I don't remember the point at which the artwork started to become somewhat passable to me, but it's not as far forward as you would think.
Yeah.
This just makes me want to fucking vomit. And, how many minutes are we into this?
I think about 4.
We just hit 3 minutes just now.
Okay. That was being overly optimistic.
I'm sorry, people. I'm trying not to swear in response to it, so maybe at some point in the future we can do a swear-free commentary on Blues.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Anyway, the artwork, very bad. You see Miss Tickle for the first time?
Yeah. Also, who's that one?
Originally, she was going to be like the school psychiatrist, and the gag was she would be Dr. Helen, and she would be like a parody of Counselor Troy from Star Trek.
Yeah. Honestly, I did think their cases coming up would be useful to have one of those.
That's a good point.
But
Yeah, it's...
and there's a typo right there in the first panel.
Wow. I'm not the least bit surprised. Yeah, terribly drawn buses, weird fountain that I don't think we've ever seen again. The school...
That one's also more like an ambulance.
It really does! But yeah,
I think we have seen that fountain more than once.
No, in one of the other chapters, like, it's in, like, the garden area.
Yeah.
Not over the entrance. And, like, in general, I really, really do need to do a map of the school. I'm probably going to do it over the next break, just because...
Anytime we see the entrance, it's always really zoomed in.
Yeah.
So that could still well be there. We can never see it.
Yeah, it's a good point. I get to see Eileen, this... Have we ever seen this kid again?
Which one? Oh, that girl...
Is that a girl? I thought it was a guy.
What?
I thought it was a guy.
Oh. Well, that person.
He has the same haircut I do.
I'm pretty sure did show up at one point, because I think after we like made the list of like all the extras and stuff, I think was worked in a crowd shot or something.
Yeah, that sounds right. You see Guy again. Guy's always fun to work with.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Was this guy's first appearance?
I think it was. I don't think we had seen it before then.
Yeah.
There's Lenore, of course.
Yeah.
Was Miss Tickle this early of an idea, or did she just happen?
Yeah, she was really early idea.
Oh, okay.
I remember originally she had a different name, then you just misspelled it as Tickle and liked it.
Oh yeah. I was really gonna call her Miss Tickle because that was the name of my third grade teacher, and I just couldn't remember how her name was spelled, and so I just kept misspelling it over and over again until one day I misspelled it as Miss Tickle, and that's funny. That's appropriate.
Yeah.
And oh, we see Ruby and Alex too, and Karasuma Kid, whose name I can't remember.
I think his name was Kent.
I think so. The weird thing is,
we have a list of all the extras.
We do, and of their powers. Which, speaking of which, in the next chapter, I was planning on showing off his.
Yeah.
Because it'd be appropriate, you know.
Yeah. I think here was where Lenore started to like get her own color scheme.
Yeah, because she looks so adorable. Using this artwork.
Speaking of this whole thing of like Laura not really having money for clothes is one of those things that hasn't really come up again since.
No, that kind of wound up just being forgotten. Which
there is one thing I do keep consistent with that is the fact that like even though some of the others have like multiple pairs of shoes, I always have her in the same one.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
Right, they got they got like an extra bit of like white to them as the art improved.
Yeah.
It's the same shoes.
Oh yeah. But I do imagine like she's probably just wearing hand-me-downs from her sister, who's currently in college. But I think after she moved to the center, they started giving her better clothes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the things that's relatively covered under their budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these twins took forever to show up again.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of originally designed it with the idea of like just in coloring.
Yeah.
Kind of colored with the idea of it being like somehow like shadow clone being used to hold a seat for somebody.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it wound up working out.
Yeah, I kind of like both ideas, but I think I like the twin one more.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I? Oh, mystery roommate. Like I think this was back when again it took us a while to settle on who Andy's roommate was.
I think we had it in mind for a long time. We just weren't showing him.
Yeah, but even before then, there was a while where it wasn't a thing. Where we weren't sure, right?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, this awkward thing. I don't know if I would have. I don't know if I would keep this in if we were doing this chapter again.
I don't know, because we do set it up to like the next chapter all the time, and she was in the next one.
Yeah, but it felt like kind of an especially awkward way of setting things up.
True, it kind of feels more like could have done something in the background with it.
Yeah. I do like the payback when they're trying to do it with Nikki later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this just kind of shows like how awkwardly placed Jake was in the first chapter, because he was an especially like kind of odd duck to put in.
Yeah.
Like he was just weird to fit into things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, in general, this chapter has been really hard to comment on this far.
Yeah.
One thing I am curious about is she was just flashing off the bald head throughout the entire car ride until Laura like kind of called her out on how stupid that would look on TV, and now she has a hat. So I'm wondering if she did it entirely because of Laura.
Yeah, good point actually.
Yeah.
Has that stunt strike kid shown up again since?
I don't think she has. Yeah, I don't know.
Also, why wasn't Lenore called out?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, on like the clothes thing. What's those sleeves?
Where is she? I think it was less because of the clothes and more just because she just kind of looks creepy.
Yeah.
Later we did that joke about like how about them doing like that really inept commercial to raise blue blood awareness. It would have been funny if she was one of the ones that was auditioned for it and was kicked out,
True.
or she wouldn't do it because she thought the camera would steal her soul.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about maybe the most awesome case of mistaken identity ever?
Yeah.
Because I think this was all your idea, and I was a little bit resistant to it at first, but now I friggin' love it.
Yeah. For the purpose of this, I'm not really sure exactly how much detail to go into, but
Yeah,
basically just from like some other side stories that really have nothing to do with Blues.
yeah.
You know, Sue is just a character in those whatever, and this extra here just happened to look a lot like her.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like tweaked the eyes a little bit. Yeah. Just look at her color scheme or whatever, and there you go. She became a member of the cast.
Oh, yeah, and she's a teacher now, and that was awesome, because it gave us... She just fit really well into... Like, she hasn't shown up that much, but whenever she does, it feels like she just fits in perfectly.
She's gonna show up more soon.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I've got a lot of cool stuff planned with her in the next chapter.
Yeah, there's actually a funny thing kind of here for me. It's like, okay, WWE loaded the thing. I think that was all Adam Stahl.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because typically I actually don't really insert wrestling in these things.
Yeah, that's the really weird part. I usually put way more I usually put way more wrestling things into the comics than he does, and he's the wrestling fan.
Yeah, I do have something planned for the next chapter.
Even in cameos, like whenever we're doing a cameo for Right as Rain, I try to get into things that I know you're kind of into. That's why in some recent Right as Rain, like just extras cameos, there was like Dipper, there was Rey Mysterio. I try to just think of like things that you're kind of more into than I am.
Yeah. But yeah, what's funny about that jacket though?
Yeah.
But who knew that about 3 years after this, was posted with this taunt set in the future, they changed their logo.
Ah. he's just keeping it retro, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who still wear WWF jackets.
Yeah.
Or hell, WCW.
Yeah. Sure, I own an ECW shirt.
Ah, cool.
Then there's that weird faceless extra there.
Yeah, that was an awkward thing that we did for a while. Ugh. Anyway, originally I was gonna... This sadly does not come up that much, but I did want to have like originally I was gonna have a lot of jokes about Jenny having a high metabolism.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't happen. Like, I'm kind of annoyed about that, because I liked the idea.
I kind of see it as something that's still probably there. It just doesn't really come up. I mean, there's still been jokes about it.
Yeah, there have been jokes about it, but it just...
Like, in that one page, her tray or whatever was, like, way more full than everybody else's.
Yeah, it's like, it's subtle, but, like, I'd like to make some more jokes about it in the future, because I think it's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah. And also, as you can see, like, Vincent wasn't somebody we made up just for the roommates or whatever. He's standing right there at this so late.
Whose idea was this? Was it your idea to do the ice skin, or was it me?
I think it was me.
I think it was, because I think that...
The power was already in mind as ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was your idea.
Okay, so I think this would be a good place to talk about Tracy.
Oh yeah, that is Tracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was originally going to be a much bigger character than it wound up being.
I kind of still have plans to revisit in this side thing.
Yeah.
But, okay, so basically you're probably wondering why this perfectly normal-looking kid is hanging out with, a bunch of, like, the more obviously weird ones.
Yeah, like, I think Valerie, Heather, and Guy, you usually see these three together, and I think it's because all three of them are kind of, like, especially freakish.
Yeah.
Like, Valerie has had trouble in the past like, Heather has very limited control of, well, I don't know how exactly to describe it. It's not that she can't control her powers, it's just that she always has to.
Yeah.
Valerie has had trouble controlling her powers in the past. Guy's powers are always on because he's always invisible.
Yeah. And of course, Vincent also fits in with that. I mean, he looks like an iced over corpse.
Yeah. And why is this one that looks normal hanging out with them? Well...
Yeah, based on Tracy, the idea we had was just like... This is kind of hard subject to describe.
You wanted to bring it up, mate.
Yeah, true. Okay. Based on Tracy's powers were going to be to, like, alter people's genders.
Yeah, he could switch genders, like people in, like, a dozen webcomics the two of us know about.
Yeah. And was going. Yeah, we've reviewed a lot of those.
Yeah.
And basically was going to have the idea of like the actual gender of Tracy was going to be ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like no one really knew.
So what are you really? It's just like, shut up.
Yeah.
And admittedly, it's kind of harder for me to bring that back in because at the time we were doing this, Watch to this day is the webcomic Watch is a big influence on Blues, on the webcomics in general, but I think Blues especially, giant influence. And looking back on that webcomic, the main character had a thing about switching people's genders, and she, in retrospect, is really unlikable.
Honestly, I was kind of thinking on Tracy. Tracy wouldn't really like to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I got the impression, like, I think at one point the idea was like if he had to use his powers, he would usually just use it on a cat.
Yeah.
Which I would still figure is kind of cruel because the cat wouldn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like now that kind of bothers me because things happening to animals really kind of makes me sad because the animals don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and I would like to explore it a little bit further when it comes to the fact that I do like the idea of having a blue blood who kind of has a relatively useless power because it's probably not permanent.
Yeah.
And one that really is like actively detrimental to use. So it's basically just a case of like has a power, but not really. It doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Everyone hates him. If you do it to someone, you're actually just being really rude. Unless, yeah.
Yeah, because I kind of like the idea and would like to at least explore that aspect of things a little bit. Because it's an interesting premise for one. Somebody having an inherently cool power there's no real use for.
Yeah, it's like those Japanese inventions that seem useful until you think about them for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Oh, God, what do I even say about this one? I do like the touch of like that. Both like the settings on the gun and also your coloring.
Yeah.
Tickle, stun, wound, kill, destroy, nuke.
Yeah. I'll say this whole chapter's kind of weird in general. But like, really, both second chapters for comics.
Yeah.
Kind of had the same thing. Like, people aren't really even kind of the BP one. People aren't really written the way they are later.
Yeah, there's a lot of early installment weirdness all around, and in particular, like, even just this plan, like, Spencer, as we write him now, would not assassinate a person.
Yeah,
he would hurt
even
him.
if he did, I think he'd have more flair about it.
Yeah, he would hurt a person, like, he would mess them up and be mean, but he wouldn't actually kill somebody.
Yeah.
I should like you to know that even now it is really hard for me to not swear.
Yeah.
I'm checking myself constantly.
Yeah, well, maybe you'll get more used to it as you go.
Maybe so.
I don't think I even colored that one.
No, there's some slight coloring to her.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of flat. I don't know. Either way, this page is kind of interesting just because it has a lot of
special
things
effects.
Yeah, it has a lot of special effects on display that people later did a lot better at.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh God. But even then, like, you did some really good work on the coloring, like the way it looks when she absorbs the beam, which, that's a consistent thing. I think that's kind of a consistent thing with Valerie. If you shoot off a beam weapon toward her, she'll just suck it up like a magnet.
Right, that doesn't even come up that much.
True, I mean, like, well, how many people do you know that have beam weapons? Come on.
True.
God, I'm actually really hating this chapter as we go on with it.
Did Mech ever have those things on his shoulders again?
They are. I think they're just. I think in other cases they're just colored.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually a really out of character line for Jake to say.
It really is. He wouldn't call him Gigantor. He would just be kind of more into. In general, Jake is really out of character for this second chapter rather.
Yeah, I think Jake was kind of somebody who we had to kind of grow into things in terms of like how to write him.
Yeah, because there's a moment coming up where he actually smiles, and that is the only time in the entire comic he ever smiles.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Also, I'm noticing so many parts where I miss colors on these early pages.
Yeah, welcome to my world, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just gonna keep going on because this. Oh God, what the hell?
Yeah. That one's PG, so I'll allow it.
Say again?
So that one's PG, so I'll allow it.
Thank you, Master.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Andy's powers apparently originally let him break his legs.
Yeah, there was this thing of like Andy would always be like kind of twisting his body around in shots, and it was awkward, but yeah.
Now he tends to just kind of hang off stuff.
Yeah, hanging off stuff I think is fun. It's more monkey-like.
Yeah.
And, okay, the funny story, there was originally going to be a thing where Jenny's trademark favorite food was going to be hot dogs.
Yeah.
I dropped it because, and I swear I'm not kidding here, I read a study linking very large consumption of hot dogs in children to brain cancer.
Yeah.
I really wish I were joking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh crap, I gotta give her a new favorite food.
Also, by all signs, Matt just has, like, normal hands. And yet he's, like, handling her no problem.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I think Mecha is usually, like, drawn as, especially later, as, like, super, super buff.
True.
Like, kind of Marvelous Man levels of buff.
Yeah, we've had issues lately with how they look too similar.
Yeah. The first time you see, one of the few times you see Marvelous Man out of costume, he actually winds up looking really similar to Mech, to the point of where I had to say, like, Martin, can you fix this in coloring?
Yeah. If wondering, it did kind of work.
Yeah, it really worked in coloring, but I think coloring completely changed it. But I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
In general, like, I don't think we can emphasize enough, like, because I have a lot of people when we do commissions, especially, who'll ask, "Oh, can I see it when it's still line art?" And I don't think I can really emphasize like the degree to which things look different in coloring, especially in comics.
Yeah.
Because it really is just like night and day a lot of the time. Christ, so much of this. The deflector shield, he has a deflector shield. Did that ever come up again?
To be fair, he's only been in one other fight scene.
That's a good point.
And I don't think anyone would have fired a projectile in it.
That's a good point.
Oh, wait, no, he's been 2 other fight scenes.
Say again?
Because actually, no, he's been in 2 other fight scenes.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot about Best Served Blue.
Oh, and, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Grant flying in, being awesome.
Honestly, if we were doing it again, I probably wouldn't have made Mech the first villain.
No, I would have... Okay, there's this thing where... There's this real classic thing of, like, the first villain a superhero faces, and I don't know if I would do it, because it sort of straddles that line between being cliché and being classic.
What is it?
There's a first villain that, like, it's traditional, like, the first villain a superhero will fight, and I don't know if I would do it again, because it straddles the line between being cliché and being classic.
Yeah.
Mugger in a dark alley.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think that's shown in any of the comics yet.
No, I don't think it has, because I did that... This'll turn up as a joke in one of the later comics, but I did a list of, like, lowest level to highest level of bad guys a superhero can face, and the lowest level was Mugger in a dark alley. And we've never done that. Admittedly, like, the idea for the first fight the Blues Kids have is it's like a come-together bad guy.
Yeah.
Where everyone kind of, like, teams up for the first time, so a Mugger wouldn't quite work.
Yeah.
But Mech doesn't work either. Like, he's not...
Honestly, given some things that have happened and some later ideas,
Yeah?
I probably would have led with Martina.
Yeah, Martina actually would have been a lot stronger.
Yeah.
The only... Yeah, she probably would have been. Okay, let's just keep going.
This is an issue I had with Militant Duel too, for the record, planning that out. Because originally I had them fighting someone much different than I'm playing for them to face now.
Yeah, it's like, it's a hard... Like we said, the beginning of a comic is really hard. Like, especially for a teen book, because you gotta establish everybody and get them all around.
Yeah.
I do kind of like how Grant kind of goes from shy bookworm to superhero, like, the second he gets a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of it's that he's been just waiting for the opportunity.
Yeah, like every single second of every single day.
Yeah. Honestly, I could probably see there being a bit of a thing with Grant of like maybe before he would hear he had a certain like over ambitious nature of it. It's like, oh, you're in trouble, let me help.
Yeah, I can see that. And okay, this is where we get into some real big problems because this was like sometimes there are just problems that arise in the artwork which are slow trends, which eventually we just when they get really, really, really serious, we have to realize them. We see them and then we scale back.
Yeah.
And this was one of the cases because their proportions were not those of little kids. They looked more like those really short adults.
Yeah.
And that was a problem that started to creep up in the second chapter, and then by the end of the second chapter, it was ridiculous, and I had to scale it back throughout the third. And that's something that really pisses me off because that is a big, big pet peeve. Wait, is pissed off a swear word?
I think it constitutes PG.
Because
yeah,
like
they get away with a lot of stuff in PG.
because Cartman got that V chip in his brain that shocked him, he couldn't say pissed off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can get away with it in PG TV, so.
Okay. Christ isn't a swear word, right? Because he's a guy.
Yeah. Well, I would figure, but.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, these like it was starting to really become a problem, and that's just something that we had to scale down. Like recently with like we mentioned earlier, Marvelous Man being so buff, like we had to scale that down. Like here, when you go back and you see him the first time, he's not that big, but then as we drew him, he just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger because I was trying to emulate. Until Marvelous Man, I never really emulated that whole style of, like, the Superman muscles upon muscles upon muscles thing that you see in superhero comics.
Yeah.
And so,
honestly, characters, I'm probably still at that a little bit. But.
Oh, yeah, like that, and, like, even, you've already told me, like, we need to scale back because it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was looking like a really shitty, Okay, I think that's two.
Yeah.
I think that's two.
Okay.
Okay. He was looking like a really crummy action figure.
Yeah.
Or like the Hulk or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, how does anyone read the comic coming in behind this beginning? It's so terrible. No, I didn't realize we'd set this up with Valerie this early in.
Yeah.
Because, like, the thing is, like, every time she absorbs energy with, like, from, like, a certain wavelength, it gets easier for her to do. She's kind of like a Borg that way. Like, she builds up an immunity to it.
Well, she can replicate stuff like that, so theoretically she can fire his lasers.
Yeah. Actually, maybe that's why she can do both heat and concussive energy.
Yeah.
And maybe she only had one, and then he gave her the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I assume she got the heat from Heather.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, no, I think she just got... Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. His hat came off. No, wait, his hat got knocked off last time. God.
Hey, first super speed effect.
Yeah. And this, again, it took a while for us to get in.
Yeah. For this point in time, I don't think that looks terrible.
No, actually, I think it looks okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that was pretty much just like that point was basically just the thing of like, okay, I need to convey super speed. How do I do it?
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
So much of this we just had to figure out as we went.
Yeah.
Entirely self-taught. Never took one lesson.
Yeah. You can still kind of see it because, like, even now or whatever, it's like coming up with new ways to use like various tools in Wanda Studio. We had access to for years and not been using them.
Oh, so that's what this thing does.
Yeah.
Okay, I really just want to skip past this entire fight scene. Thankfully, we're nearly done.
Yeah.
God, they dented the mailbox!
Yeah.
How is he still... Okay, deflector shield, alright.
Plus, I figure he's probably got some cybernetic stuff beyond just the guns and the eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I think it. Yeah, starting to think of it. I'm pretty sure Senator Howland was originally designed to look like Adam West.
Yeah.
You really can't see it at all.
It'll probably be more evident whenever he actually appears again.
He's.
He was actually originally intended to be fairly recurring.
Yeah, he really was, but it's just like no, it never came up.
Yeah.
He's already a senator who can actually accomplish things, so that's already a major. He might as well have superpowers himself.
Will they ever establish if he's like federal or just like a state senator?
I think he's a states. I think he's the Texas senator.
Okay. Also, I kind of didn't realize we actually showed Shinobu this early.
Oh, yeah, the next chapter, next page rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that part I knew about because I was looking for that.
Yeah. That act feels like it probably would be pretty useful.
Oh yeah, just a kill. I think I actually got this from Superior Spider-Man because there's a scene where a bunch of Shield agents come to a scene after he wipes up and.
Superior Spider-Man didn't exist yet.
Oh, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There's so many X-adjective Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Ultimate Spider-Man, there's like a scene where a bunch of Shield agents come in after he cleans up and beats up Doc Ock, and there are a bunch of TV reporters around. So she just hits something on her watch, and all the cameras lose their feed.
Yeah.
Because that's not shady at all.
Yeah.
It's one problem I have a lot with Ultimate Spider-Man. Looking back, it's like there are so many things that would get Nick Fury fired.
Yeah.
Every day. Then again, I think he was fired or betrayed by the Ultimates or something. I don't know. I can't really read any of the books in the Ultimate verse other than Spidey, but we're getting off topic. Okay, fighting scenes. Oh wow. Speaking of Early Bird cameos, this one I didn't expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew he showed up.
I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Skull, like years prior to well, not years, but probably years, but yeah, way before he was gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
It was about a year and a half.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's over with.
Yeah.
Senator Howland's talking to his wife, yeah. Early but good reaction from Grant. Like, seriously, he wasn't a robot. Aside from the guns, the eyes, the gun, whatever thing in that force field, he seemed human. He was even breathing heavy during the fight. That was a cyborg. We just got attacked with all of a cyborg! How awesome is that?
Yeah.
Also, is it really throwing you off how thin, like, the little speech bubble arrows are?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. This was back when this was like the earlier version of Manga Studio. This was like 5.0 or whatever.
Yeah. I like the idea that Valerie immediately just starts stretching out the arms and saving them.
Yeah. I mean, like, it probably isn't that hard to stretch out his arms, but I do like that. It is kind of like a weird back and forth of like Valerie, like, both not caring and caring a lot about her brother.
That said, this shows a lot that we hadn't thought of Lenore's powers yet.
Yeah, because, granted, I think at this point, Valerie and Grant are the only ones who know what they are.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, Nitty should have known whenever this comes up later.
Yeah. I think it was just a secondary burn.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you can tell, like, Lenore, we did not know what her powers were going to be for a while.
Yeah.
And, crap, there's some... Oh. But yeah, Valerie and Nikki, like, I do like their relationship a lot, because she will look after him, but she doesn't like looking after him.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the next chapter, where everyone's kind of, like, meeting up, and they're essentially like, hey, where's Nikki? It's like, how should I know? Ask Grant.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think we've had a scene just with the two of them in a while.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, Nicky kind of gets shuffled off to the side a lot.
Yeah, it's sad but true.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is another thing where Jake's kind of out of character.
Not terribly. He's just like, he would still do this, but he wouldn't be so nice about it.
I mean, particularly like the bizarre noodle arms part.
The what?
The idea that this face is him.
Oh yeah, that face is him, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still very bitter and angry about the whole thing, which is perfect, Jake. And this is something that I thought was really in character because I think even with look at the proportions in the kids here. That is all wrong.
Yeah.
That really bothers the hell out of me. Just, ugh.
Why don't I just let most of the shirts in this chapter have come back at some point?
Yeah. But, yeah, but one thing about Jake that I think is probably true is that I don't think he likes lying to people.
Yeah.
Like, I think he always tries to maintain, like, some degree of integrity and always tell the truth. And so I think the only reason he's kind of lying, and I also think that's especially true of taking credit for what somebody else did.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's like, I think that's an especially big deal to Jake. And he probably really hates doing this.
Yeah. I do like one other really consistent thing is Laura seems to really kind of pick up on what somebody else's plan is and go along with it.
Yeah. Yeah, Laura's pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And I think she also realized, like, yeah, we have to kind of keep this quiet.
Yeah.
Because I think already she really wanted to do more of this.
Yeah, it's like it's probably pretty abundantly obvious why it's actually masquerading blues.
Yeah. There it is, small smile, but this is the only time Jake has ever smiled in the comic, and it's early installment weirdness.
Part of me wants to retcon it.
Part of me does, but at the same... Yeah, because I feel like if he ever smiles again, it's gotta be, like, huge deal.
It's not like it's like a huge ear-to-ear grin or anything. He's just kind of like, wow, so I'm not gonna be homeless.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just gonna say offhand, like, job hunting can really smack the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a job right now, thank God, but I had to look around long enough. I had to look around and get it.
Oh, yeah.
Cash in some favors.
Yeah, we both know, like, how it can... If I didn't have, like... Some days, like, if you don't have somebody in your corner kind of rooting for you, it can really put you in a bad place.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. God, the proportions are really driving me nuts, but... Yeah, I think,
That one panel, Jane doesn't even look like a tiny anymore. She just looks like an adult.
Yeah.
It's weird because this is going on with this, or whatever. But, like, over in War, like, everyone in the second chapter there looks really short.
Yeah, I know. It's completely topsy-turvy and everything. It's like, it's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I think, yeah, this really is a really crummy opening to the story. This is the last page of the chapter, I think.
I think...
It is, and what the hell? What the hell?
Yeah.
There's no end of chapter. We always do end of chapter. I think even hang on. I think the first chapter had end of chapter.
I don't think the first one did have one. Does it seem to?
It didn't.
Even the third Blues chapter doesn't have it.
What?
I think what it is we originally only did it more, and then we just added it to Blues much later.
But why? I love this idea. I love end of chapter.
Yeah, because I do seem to remember originally, like, didn't really do it, and you just kind of hopped on board with it later.
Okay, Shining, the chapter with Aurora didn't do it.
Didn't do it until Best Served Blue.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I love end of chapter. Oh man, that sucks.
Was it from the get-go?
I think it was.
So.
I'm pretty sure it was, because we had, like, that ominous image in War at the end of the prologue, and then we had, like, the creepy little end of chapter. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So War did it from the word go, and Blues didn't do it until chapter 5.
That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
I love end of chapter. It entices.
Yeah.
Like, it works for everything. It's like, done, done, done. It's what a job well done. It's like, it's just...
I kind of wondered about switching over to, like, the Garcade style doing it, just having a symbol.
Either way, it's just a good feeling.
Yeah. Have I mentioned where I got that idea from?
No, I think, I don't.
It was Anti-Hero for Hire. At the end of each chapter, it'd say in transmission.
Even back when I was a little kid, I remember my brother would read me, like, the comics that they got from in Nintendo Power back in the day. They had the Mario World comic, and they had the Link to the Past comic, and he would always read the To Be Continued thing in, like, a creepy voice.
Yeah.
And it was just cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that took a while to come up in Blues.
That sucks. So, this entire chapter sucks.
Yeah. Here's how the next one will.
I think it'll go over better, because, like, I do remember liking... Martina, I don't think, was the best executed villain for a while, and I think things could have been better, but...
I think kind of a thing with her is we kind of got more ideas going forward for her than we did at the time.
Yeah, we really did. But, there was more of an idea of what the comic was going to be when we were doing Heroes Wear Blue. This one, like we said, bringing the team together was really awkward. Mech did not work as a starter villain. The concept in general just felt off. Like, this is a really bad chapter looking back.
Actually, there's some kind of weird things about the way the chapter's even laid out in terms of bringing the group together.
Yeah.
Because there's like, so where did Heather go?
I think, Valerie saw Nikki talking to those two cultists and ran off to get him.
Yeah.
I think the question is, when did Grant just showing up is kind of weird. That's just random happenstance.
Oh my god, he looks giant in that one panel.
I know! I can't even look at this. I'm going to the card page.
Yeah.
I hate this comic. I hate that chapter. This was really bad looking back.
Yeah.
I can't think of I can barely think of anything I would have kept.
Yeah. See, art's much better now.
Yeah, art is much, much better now. Ugh. Miserable. Just dreck. Even the cover was crummy.
Yeah. I wonder what comic we'll do next. This or Blue. I mean, this or War.
What was the next chapter of War?
Black Flame.
I'd say that one, because that was a really fun chapter. I reread it relatively recently, and I think it still holds up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
Artwork aside.
Yeah.
And the chapter after that, like, even though the artwork isn't good, I kind of have fond memories of doing it.
Yeah. I kind of have a big one central problem with Black Flame.
Yeah.
It took a long time before anything from it actually had any relevance.
Yeah, like Ivy League especially took forever to see again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing Black.
One thing from that comic from that chapter has come back now.
Yeah.
But it took a while.
There's more stuff that's going to come back but hasn't.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. We'll probably do Rise Rain next, because I do want to talk about that chapter. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And it ties back together, because that's the chapter where Grant cameos.
Yeah, sure.
Which I'll probably go. I'm probably gonna splooge about this later, but Grant's cameo in that, I just pictured to you as like a throwaway, like, single line.
Yeah.
Like where you see it in the address bar. You turned it into like a whole letter, which is so awesome.
Yeah. Which honestly gave a lot of groundwork for later stuff.
Oh yeah, that we got a lot out of that email.
We spent a lot of time trying to think of how to do a crossover.
Oh yeah. And I still think the crossover is one of my favorite chapters in any of the comics. I'm not like, it's up there.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing for another time, really.
Oh, yeah.
How long did this one run? About 40 minutes?
This ran, Yeah, 45. We're just coming up on 45 minutes now.
But I see a lot shorter.
Oh yeah, it's much shorter. Almost half the length.
Yeah. I don't know. You have any closing thoughts on it?
I would change everything if I had to do it again.
Yeah.
Like at least the first one kind of served like had some good ideas to it. The second one was just bad.
Yeah.
Like I honestly feel.
If I had the time, okay, if we had the time and it wouldn't disrupt anything, I probably would redo the first few chapters of the comics.
I don't think I would because that's a can of worms, mate.
Well, I said if we had the time,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't disrupt anything.
Yeah. But even then, yeah.
Although, granted, any time that go to that, just go to one of the other ideas we have off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well. Well. It's, any final thoughts from you?
Not really offhand. It is kind of interesting to see how things grow. And there's
Yeah.
always that certain level of just, like, looking back at something like, oh, God, I would have done this so differently.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And this one I think was one of the biggest missteps that we've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. I almost hit the hang up button.
Good.
I caught myself. Okay, that's it. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Alright, bye.
Bye.